So today we're going to talk about Kundalini and rapid self-development. So let's start with this word Kundalini. It is a ancient word coming from Sanskrit, and it essentially translates to the energy that's it's a very particular form of energy that belongs to every human, and it sits dormant at the base of the spine in every human. And most humans will not unlock the Kundalini energy, not even once in their whole life. Several will unlock it maybe once or twice in their whole life. One of the most common examples of someone accidentally opening up their ability to tap into their Kundalini is you will read from time to time about a mother lifting a car off of a child. So in a time of immense tragedy, they are somehow able to access the immense amount of Kundalini energy, which is at the base of the spine for all humans. It's just very rare that we tap into it. And so that tells you the power. It's not a physical thing that the woman just did. She didn't lift the car with her physical muscles. I mean, I don't know any men. There are very few men who can lift a car with their physical muscles. They do it with their immense energy in their energy body, starting with the Kundalini at the base of the spine. In martial arts, in particular forms of styles of martial arts, we tap into energy for strength. Instead of using our muscles, we use energy, and we find that we're much stronger and we can actually redirect an opponent's very strong physical strength, and we can actually have the greater power when we meet their physical strength with energy. So I've done certain practices with men and women when we're in person, when we do meditations in nature, like we go to Mount Tamalpais, for example, here in the Bay Area from time to time, and we do some of these martial arts practices. And there's this thing called unbendable arm. And everyone gets a buddy, and one of your buddies will put out their arm like this, and they'll point to the horizon, and they'll imagine energy coming up the central channel, up the spine, and out their finger. And they're just pointing, and their arm is totally loose. And then the other person tries to bend the arm. So the other person's using two hands, one here and one here, and they're trying to bend the arm. Now, from just a good old physics and biology point of view, anyone who's trying to bend an arm like this will win eventually, because this is a weak stance for the human arm. So you should be able to bend this eventually, no matter how many muscles they have. But depending on the pair, and sometimes I'll put two people together, one with muscles this big and one with muscles this big. And the one with the smaller muscles doing the unbendable arm just with energy will actually resist the person trying to bend their arm. I've had men more than a foot taller than the female, and his wrists were like this big and her wrists were like this big, and he couldn't bend her arm. So that's the power of Kundalini energy. That's the power of energy in our energy body. And whether you're male or female, we all have this. And it is very beneficial to be balanced and strong in this world, not to be used in any kind of violent way. In the study of martial arts that goes back centuries, back to Bodhidharma of India and China, who created the Shaolin Temple in China, martial arts, as it relates to Buddhism, is a peaceful path of awareness. It's a path of awareness more than anything else. And so we're not using this, if anything, we're using it to defend ourselves. And also, we actually say in the martial arts that I study, if you can run and avoid the situation altogether, like a physical confrontation, you just run. Or even better yet, you develop your psychic centers, your heart and your third eye, and you just know that there's danger down that road. And so you make a left instead of a right. So you don't even have to come into harm's way. You go to a different restaurant that day because something about that other restaurant just doesn't feel right. But some people don't listen to their intuition, and then something happens at that place where their ego really wanted to go there because they have good prices today. Everything's on sale. Great. But you interacted with someone with some heavy karma. They brought some karma out of you. You got in a fight, perhaps. I don't know what. This doesn't happen to me because I've been meditating for 20 years. But this is an example of following your karma versus following your intuition. It's like, oh, I go down this road instead of this road. And then you're safe and you're happy and you're balanced. So now that I've established the power of Kundalini, what is it and how do we use it on the spiritual path? Well, when you look at the saint, a saint of any religion, or there's even very high spiritual beings that some people might refer to as saints who don't identify with any religion at all. They may be like totally in on science even, that's possible. Enlightenment is about essence, not form. It's not what it looks like. Keep that in mind. And what you find in these people is that they will have immense amounts of energy coming through them, eternal energy coming through their heart, their third eye. And that is a huge benefit and boon to the people who meditate with them in person. And we actually in Vajrayana believe that that energy coming through the saint is actually rippling out into like throughout the world. So even if you're not meditating with the saint right now, if she is meditating right now, you are a beneficiary on some level. You are picking up the vibrations of her bringing eternity through her vibrationally. And so we can do that, maybe not at the level of, Ramana Maharshi or Ramakrishna or Jesus or the Buddha. And there's so many examples of these people, although overall, given the billions or trillions of humans who've walked planet Earth, it's a very rare group. It's a pretty small group in that context. But you don't necessarily have to be in the room with them to benefit from those vibrations. And certainly we can walk the path of enlightenment and wake up our chakras, which are on the central channel, which is what the Kundalini energy comes to when you're focusing on your third chakra, heart, or third eye. You are beginning to activate the Kundalini energy. You do not need to focus on the base of your spine. Simply focusing on the third chakra, the heart, and the third eye, you're bringing the energy from the base of the spine to those chakras. You're awakening your Kundalini as well as those energy centers in your energy body.